Hey yo, welcome into the Thursday 3-game NBA slate. What's up? What's poppin'? How y'all doing? Where that leverage gonna be at today? Ja Morant. A lot of single entry small field contests, Ja Morant was like, I didn't have him. He was like 10%, 12% owned. Very similar to Anthony Davis the day before. Guys who are not good. Guys who are not good in the game one. And then in game two came out and smacked. So now as the series go on in this first round and in the playoffs in general, it's going to be difficult to get that same type of leverage. It'll still be there tonight. It's a little bit early on in these series, especially for guys who have struggled in the first two games. Maybe LeBron James, not really struggled as much, but his price point's kind of expensive, right? It's in the upper 9K range, lower 10s for a guy who is doing everything he can, but he's clearly trying to be passive because he knows he can turn it on whenever he needs to. But it's about Anthony Davis and Dennis Schroeder turning it on in the last game. Marc Gasol playing after being on ice. 20 minutes, right? That's what it's about. So where can we find that leverage piece today? Welcome in to all you ladies and gentlemen and all you fellas. I see the questions. I see the people hopping into the chat right now. Appreciate you all a whole bunch. Let me see if anybody was in here bright and early on the on my mobile app. What's going on, Matt? How you doing? He says sleepers tonight. Yeah, the leverage. I don't even classify them as sleepers as much as leverage plays in these tournaments. Unless you're talking about the prop market, that would just be more so value. Yeah, sleepers tonight, the lower only leverage type plays, if you will. Let's check it out. Any 4K guys with low usage tonight, Sal? So does low usage mean ownership? Is that what you mean, my man? Ethan, how y'all doing? Let's get into this. Let's start to get to the questions. Let me see if anybody was in here bright and early to address their questions. We had a couple people in here bright and early. Who's the locks tonight? Yo, Optimals, let's go. We got people coming in with the fire comments. I like the Nurture's price point. He should play more minutes tonight. Agreed. Yeah, he's not going to get in foul trouble again, and he's going to play his full run. So I agree with you totally on that. We see people say Forbes, Howard, Jokic. Forbes is an absolute no play for me. Never in my life. Last time out, Forbes didn't even really get minutes. He played his way into more minutes. Do not expect Forbes. My candle burnt itself out. It's about to cause a fire alarm, and all my equipment's going to be going dead. So the time has come for me to go find myself an electric candle. I need to find myself an electric candle that actually shows like flames flickering or just like the illusion of it. So I don't got to be buying a candle. I bought that candle a week ago, like last Monday. So these things aren't even lasting. Smack us, Sal. Let's do it. Let's get this money. Let's do it. What do you think of Monty Morris tonight with all the injuries on the Nuggets? Yeah, I don't think anything. Oh my God, this smoke is really flaming. I'm really trying not to fuck this all up right now. Monty Morris, we got to get these things to stop burning. Monty Morris tonight for me stinks in here. Literally smells like burnt. If these sprinklers were to somehow go out from that candle, I would end myself. All right, let's pull up these. Monty Morris, I have 26 minutes. He's in a player pool for me tonight. Yeah, you saw it last time out. You saw guys like Monty Morris starting to close. You saw them say, hey, Austin Rivers, we liked you the first game. We're not closing with you this game. Like, it's crunch time. We're down 1-0 in a series. We need some guys who can actually score out here. Enter Monty Morris. So Monty Morris is going to be the beneficiary of actually having the ability to play more minutes because of closing run. Even if Austin Rivers continues to start, they showed their hand in that last game. Crunch time, we're down 1-0 in the series. Austin Rivers couldn't get it done in crunch time in the first game for us. We need scorers right now. Enter Monty Morris. This team in Portland is just going to continue to score. That's not going to stop. So yes, Monty Morris is a quality play. Trying to figure out if Miami keeps it close today. Yeah, game one was very close. Game two was not so close at all. You're not going to be able to figure that one out until about midway through the game. Play Jokic with Howard today. Yeah, I'm not really interested in Howard. You can say what you want about Howard. I'm not really going to be getting there too much. I don't really have much interest at all in Howard. What have you gotten out of Howard so far? You got 20 minutes, which we told you was just a little bit too much. There's some foul trouble that led to that. And then he played 15 minutes, and even in 20 minutes, he scores 10 fantasy points, and then in 15, he scores 9. So I don't think Howard's much of a play today. I have Howard right now for 14 minutes of play today, and my fantasy points. Howard's not in play for me. Howard is one of my lowest right now. So I currently have projected. Let me tell you how many guys I have projected today. So right now I projected for any type of fantasy points, a minute of play, 58 players today on these 6 teams, shorter rotations, so not 10-man rotations anymore, right? So 58 players right now, and Howard for me ranks out among those 58 as my number 47 overall play. So not the absolute worst. That would be reserved for guys who are playing like 4 or 5 minutes, or who might not play at all. Shout out your Montrezl Harrells out there. No luck lately, so I'm running the double ups tonight, says my man Mark Beeman. Hey, yeah, double ups. There's nothing wrong with double ups. I personally don't really play them all that much, but it's just a preference thing more so than there really being something wrong with them. Do you play AD and Davis? That's all I need to know. AD and Davis are the exact same person. So what you talking about? What you talking about? Do you play Anthony Davis and Davis today? Anthony Davis is not going to be the same type of play as he was the other night for you. One, there's a lot of different narratives in terms of his motivation and the criticism coming his way. That being said, the last 2 out of 3 times that he's faced this team, the Suns 2 weeks before the season ended and last time out, he's had probably the 2 best games of his season there. I would expect Anthony Davis's ownership to still remain relatively low. So there's nothing wrong with Anthony Davis yet again today. The problem is it's not the exact same environment as last time. He's not going to be 8% owned. He'll be double that ownership today, right? In that last game, he goes for 67 points. But expect big minutes. I have Anthony Davis for 38 minutes today, and that might be low. He's played 39 and 40 to start this series out. Expect big minutes out of him, and expect these games to stay close. If anything, the game's blowing out in the Lakers' favor, in my opinion, but I expect these games to stay close. I'm pushing my luck tonight. Probs won't work, so what's going on, Ethan? How you doing, boss man? McCollum looking pretty good. McCollum is looking pretty good today. I'm not really there on the, I would say, like his over-under pure points. If you're talking about like in the props markets, I'm not really there on that. But if you're talking just straight fantasy points, I like it. I do indeed like that. So, any minutes for Marc Gasol and Cam Johnson? Thanks. Yep, have minutes for both of them. We'll see if Cam Johnson plays right now. We'll pull up the minutes on both those fellas. So Marc Gasol, I have Harrell with no minutes. Harrell played no minutes in the last game. I'm not projecting Harrell for minutes today. Not shocked if he plays minutes. I have Gasol for 16 minutes, and he's actually, believe it or not, in a player pool because he's just $3,200 if you're looking for an extreme punt. Marc Gasol, 16 minutes. Not a great point per minute producer this year. Not terrible, though, like around the mid to upper 0.8s. And then you asked me about Cam Johnson. I have Cam Johnson projected in today, but nothing crazy. I'm not really going to be there on Cam Johnson. I had a really good game for his standards last time out, but Cam Johnson is honestly probably expensive at $3,700 on this slate. I have him for 22 minutes. Booker looking good with Paul, not 100%. Yeah, Booker looks fine. Is Booker a yes for me today would be the question. I have 12 yeses as of right now. We'll pull up the top plays. Booker is a yes for me. He's my final yes. He's my 12th yes. Let's actually pull up, see if there's any update to these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's pull up the top 8 plays. I believe they're all the same, actually. Let's see. Yep, they're all the same. So the top 8 from this morning is all the same still. There you go. There it is. Top 8 plays in the slate right there. Do you think there's enough value in the 3K range to pay up for some studs? You can pay up for a stud. I don't think you can pay up for both Jokic and Giannis. I would pay up for Giannis if you're paying up for anybody. I do think playing Giannis today would probably be in your best interest. There's obviously enough to go balanced. But Giannis just point blank today, one of these Lakers guys, most of the time they're going to just balance each other out for 45 fantasy points apiece. Sometimes you see AD go off for those 60-plus point games, or maybe it's LeBron, right? If he goes triple-double mode and he actually is a little bit less passive, which I don't think is going to happen, at least not right now, in Game 3 of the first series, trying to get the rest of this team that is honestly hot garbage up to pace. So I really do think that Jokic and Giannis are kind of the two main scorers on the slate, and Giannis for me is projecting out for a lot more points than anybody else in the slate. That's going to be reflective in the ownership, but it's like we've been seeing all slate long, or all postseason long so far. These guys are massively underpriced. So like Jimmy Butler today, Michael Porter, Bam Adebayo, Yusuf Nurkic, Damian Lillard, Devin Booker. These guys are going to pick up ownership. So Giannis on a 3-game slate where he is projected out for like 10 more points than anybody on the slate outside of like LeBron and Jokic for me today, he's going to be like 25% owned. If this was the regular season and there's efficient pricing, proper or closer to efficient pricing, and not all these underpriced guys, Giannis would be like 50 to 60% on these slates, right? So Giannis, just keep taking advantage of these massive ownership discounts that we're getting on Mr. Giannis Antetokounmpo right now. Because I do think that they're going to last, but how much longer? Like, when is it going to be that Giannis finally hits the Russell Westbrook close to $12,000 range? Because you're getting him at a discount, right? And you're getting him now at an ownership discount. I was all on him in Game 1. It worked out. Game 2, he actually scored more. I wasn't on him as much because there were some other guys in the slate, and it just worked out pricing-wise a little bit better to build some lineups out. I was more so on the pivot to Damian Lillard, which actually worked out on that slate for, I believe, a 60 fantasy point performance or upper 50s. Thanks, Sal. No problem, Matt. Hey, Sal, nice button up. Who you like? Thank you. I appreciate that, Jalen. I was actually, this isn't new, but I was just looking at new shirts. I think I'm going to go back and get some sometime this weekend. Salvatore, who's Aaron Rodgers taking on Prize Picks today? He's probably taking the under on Brian Gutenhurst and the under for sure on Mark Murphy. Who are you liking more today? Covington, Crowder, or Caldwell Pope in order? Covington, Crowder, Caldwell Pope in that order for me. CB3 on Prize Picks looks appealing. Do we risk it knowing the minutes limit says Peyton Palmer Newton? What a name, Peyton Palmer Newton. I like the name. What prop specifically? The fantasy points, the assists, the rebounds, the points. Let me know what it is. Jimmy better not let me down. Jimmy Butler's not going to let you down if the game stays close. Jimmy Butler's team could let you down. Jimmy Butler's team can let him down, right? Jimmy Butler himself will probably not let you down. He is just so heavily involved, and that price point is dirt cheap. It's like how Kawhi Leonard really can't let you down when he's going to be priced at $8,000. It's like when Ben Simmons, who's very active in the rebounding and assist department and gets to the free throw line, cannot let you down when he's $7,300 on these slates. These guys are $1,000 on their price. Jimmy Butler should be the exact same price as Damian Lillard. He's $1,000 difference, more than that, right? So Jimmy Butler will not let you down. His team might let you down by getting blown out, right? We've had one very close game in overtime. We've had one blowout. Couldn't tell you what's going to happen today, but I'm projecting it to be straight up, and that projects out Jimmy Butler as my number one play in the slate for 50.5 fantasy points today. But you should not be surprised when you see Jimmy Butler being the highest owned player on the slate. And Jimmy Butler, I don't think he hits 50% ownership, but expect close to that today. Why no Harrell? Because Harrell played 0 minutes in the last game. Why no Harrell? Because Harrell is probably the worst defender on his team. Montrezl Harrell is probably the worst defender on the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, Dennis Schroeder is pretty close as well, but he's improved this game at least the last year and a half. So, like when people were telling me earlier this season, oh, Montrezl Harrell, I don't know why we're getting, let me see this chat. I don't know why the chat comes up so high now. Like when people were telling me, oh, Montrezl Harrell, he's so much better than Dwight Howard for the Lakers. Maybe like in like 5 regular season games where he scores a lot of points and those games really don't matter anyways for the Lakers. But when it comes to the postseason, no. Give me Dwight Howard 10 out of 10 times over Montrezl Harrell in the postseason, right? Especially when you have Anthony Davis on your team who can score, let alone defend, one of the best, if not the best, big man defenders in the league. So, yeah, why no Montrezl Harrell? Why, for me personally, he didn't play last game, so I'm not playing him today. Why no Montrezl Harrell, or I'm not projecting him today? Why no Montrezl Harrell for them? Because he just flat out stinks at defense. And that's what matters in the postseason. That's why you see Rondo playing bigger minutes in the postseason, right? That's why you see Marc Gasol playing over Harrell in the postseason, because Marc Gasol, although an old man, actually can defend. Can I play Nurkic and Giannis together? You sure can, my man. Sal, my man, let's get this money. Let's get this money for sure. We're going to build some lineups momentarily. Any interest in Morris or none today? Yeah, similar interest as I have. More interest in Monty Morris. I think he has a better chance to close out games like you saw last time. Kendrick Nunn probably not going to close out any games in this series unless Goran Dragic is injured, in foul trouble, or just really, really hurt. So let's pull up the double box now. We can build out some lineups. Let's pull up CJ McCollum as a little picture guy here. Look at that, fits perfectly in here. So let's build some lineups. Let's put 2 uniques. Let's go 4 from a team max. Let's put 49,900 as salary. This is the big energy optimizer some people were asking about in the Discord earlier who might not have access to it because you're Discord only membership. But you can check it out. Link down below. Let's see. Alrighty. Check it all out. Linked down below. I'll put it in the chat right now. So it's going to build out 20 lineups. I'll do a whole 150 so we can get a little bit sharper of exposure. So let's do 150 and then we can let that build in the background and chat about it. So let's let that build in the background. Get your questions in. I think Drummond is a great pick. Lakers dude, so dumb for giving up Howard, McGee, and Rondo for Schroeder, Harrell, and Gasol. Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. I said that many moons ago. I have a tweet. I retweeted it today, and a lot of people who are fantasy focused, right? They follow me, so obviously they're fantasy focused. Were saying, how do you think having Dwight Howard, Rondo, and McGee is better than Marc Gasol, Harrell, and Schroeder? I mean, Schroeder's like the only one that you can tell me because he's actually somebody who can take pressure off LeBron when it comes to ball handling. Alex Caruso's not doing that in the postseason, as you see right now, right? So that's the only one that you can tell me. But Rondo did it last year. Rondo is arguably the most important piece of that Lakers championship team last year. Of course, if LeBron or AD is getting hurt and not playing. But if you're telling me the third piece on that team, the one that really glued it all together. Crowder or Covington? Covington. Nice cam, LOL. Yeah, thanks. Nice cam. I don't know if this is the first time you're watching me in a while, but yeah, we got a new cam up in here. All the casuals thought they got better is the exact way. Literally, the second that they signed Harrell, and it was clear that they weren't going to have Dwight Howard, that's what I said. I was like, you go to Harrell over Dwight Howard. What a terrible decision, right? Then Marc Gasol over McGee. You downgraded up both of your center spots. Thoughts on Brown at home? What is his ownership today? Yeah, so let's kind of talk about some of the leverage pieces because LeBron is not going to be like an insane 10 to 12% on leverage. Like Anthony Davis was a gift. 2 days ago we said it. Anthony Davis at 10% ownership. Probably not going to ever happen again in this series. And it's probably not. He's probably going to be like 16 to 18% on today. LeBron's not going to be low owned. Give me Giannis instead. I think that Giannis will be higher owned than LeBron, but nothing crazy. Giannis 25, 28%, LeBron 22, 25%. Yeah, I mean, can LeBron get it done? Yeah, but the ownership is not matching it. If you told me LeBron was 12% because he hasn't produced at least to his price point in the first 2 games, yeah, I'd be all over it. I think I'm really looking for leverage plays right now. but that's just not happening. There's really not many, or I would say there's no studs right now. Like Chris Paul is going to be your only low-owned guy. It's going to be the complete opposite of last time. And if you watch that last game, the last game and a half since he's got injured, Chris Paul looks like he's fucking injured out there. So that's the issue, right? But yeah, there's not going to be any studs that are low-owned. I think some like low-owned punts, Marc Gasol playing 16 to 18 to 20 minutes in that last game. But if you're looking for low-owned studs, you're probably not going to find it. Leverage pieces that can potentially be leveraged on the slate. I mean, you have a low on Chris Paul, so you're not leveraging off of him. But if you want to bank on the fact that Chris Paul is injured, and it very much looked like that last game, you saw Campaign play a lot more minutes, especially in the closing run. Similar to why you're seeing guys like Goran Dragic close over Kendrick Nunn, right? You're seeing Monty Morris close over Austin Rivers. Better offensive players. At some point, you need offensive players if you're trailing or needing to keep it close, right? And Campaign got that run. Now he's expensive. He's $4,800 relative to where he's been all season long. But Campaign is not going to be owned tonight. So if you're looking for the stud that's the leverage play, the 7K plus guy, it's going to be Chris Paul today. Other than that, like most of these guys above 8K are going to be 20% or higher owned. I think Davis comes in around 18% owned. I think LeBron 20 plus owned. So not as much. Dragic or Campazzo, and why Dragic, he closes out games. He's a better offensive piece, right? Campazzo is going to close out games, but on offense, he goes behind Monty Morris when Monty Morris is on the court. What's up, Sal? Thanks for the winning lineup yesterday. It was a winning lineup, was it really? Thanks, Sal. I figured even if he played 10 minutes. Thoughts on Covington today? I think Covington continues to look good. Covington is actually... here you go. Now, Covington is not going to be low-owned. I don't expect Covington to be anywhere near low-owned. But Covington is like the guy tonight, like John Morant, like Anthony Davis in Game 1. Covington is one of those guys who has kind of sucked the first 2 games of the series. One was because of blowout run, and just those guys didn't play as much run, right? But Covington has sucked the first 2 games of the series. The problem is Covington's not going to be low-owned. Everybody's already on it, whether they're using my projections or other people's projections, or they're just not seeing any values out there. Covington is already picking up ownership. But he is one of those, I would say, rarer guys on this slate that has struggled the first 2 games. I would say if you're looking for leverage pieces on this slate today, Anthony Davis will still give you some leverage out there. And then I think that Campaign probably looks like the best leverage play on the slate. Kendrick Nunn, I want to say Kendrick Nunn, but there's just no way he's going to close out a game. There's just no way. Unless something happens to Goran Dragic, there's probably no way that Kendrick Nunn closes out a game. Top 3 SuperDraft plays today. So let's let these lineups start building in the background. So these are the types of lineups that is building out for us if we put a $49,900 cap. We'll look at the exposures in a second. Top SuperDraft plays for me today. Projection-wise, it goes Giannis, Butler, LeBron, Jokic, Lillard. Those are the top 5. Yeah, all the SuperDraft projections, you can check them out if you'd like to as well. I'm definitely about to sign up, says Alpha Dog. Hey, yeah, sign up. Get up in here. What you waiting for? Gasol plays because he spreads the floor, not because he plays defense. Yeah, both. I would say both. I mean, old man Gasol is not an elite defender. It's like Danny Green. He's out there for 3-pointers, not defense anymore. But Marc Gasol, where he currently is at, is probably a better defender still, and I would say he is, than a Montrezl Harrell. But that is true. Your point is definitely heard and valid, that the spreading of the floor, being able to actually hit threes where Harrell's not going to be in that department as much. Yes, that is true. Setting screens, and that's kind of all he does up front. Jay Crowder or Covington? What's good? What's going on, DZ? How you doing, boss man? Did he show some of the prize picks today? So prize picks we talked about this morning. We're going to be talking about prize picks today. I haven't taken any others since this morning. I'll probably take some in the final half hour before lock. We can talk through some on this stream as well. Do you like Middleton for 21 real points today? Let me see. Let me see if I like Middleton for over under 21 for you today. Did you like and subscribe and get your friends to like and subscribe? Somebody says, yeah, get your friends to like and subscribe for sure. What's your gut feeling on Paul, how Paul does tonight? I think he's going to be injured, but here's the thing with Chris Paul. So let's look at these exposures, and we'll pull up the double box so we can talk with a bigger face of Sal right here. Here's the thing with Chris Paul, and maybe I'll reduce the banners up top so we can get your boy even bigger on this one. We'll have to look at that. Chris Paul is not going to be owned today. Chris Paul is the best higher-priced leverage play in the slate. I would say Campaign is the best leverage overall, but Chris Paul is probably the second best leverage play in the slate because of a worry about an injury, and it's a legit thing. But the way that Chris Paul does succeed most of the time is the games where Chris Paul goes for 12 to 15 plus assists, right? That's his game. 40 plus assist percentage this year. You could see he could barely dribble 2 games ago. Last game, he definitely seemed gimpy. The problem is he's not going to be able to really probably put up 15 to 20 real life points. And that's where at $7,400, it starts to become an issue. But Chris Paul is capable of a 15 assist game. You know what a 15 assist game scores? Like 22 to 23 fantasy points alone right there. So that's what I'll say about Chris Paul. Like, he is one of the rare guys that if his shot's not falling, like, he can score 6 real-life points today, go to the free throw line a couple times, and still score 40 fantasy points by having 16 assists, 3 steals, and, like, 6 rebounds, right? Sal, do you think Miami will go to Dedmon? I mean, they've been going to Dedmon, yeah, but he's not like he's playing massive minutes. He's playing a couple of minutes here and there. He played more minutes in a blowout in the last game, so I think he'll get his normal run of 14 or 15 minutes. So it's the exposure I'm getting right now. Obviously, Butler's looking really good. Yeah, a lot of these Miami guys look good if this game stays close. I mean, that seems to be a spot. I'm going to continue to be over the field on McCollum. Over the field on Giannis, it appears, at 36%. This is not my final, by any means, final run of anything. So somebody asked me, do I have an interest in the over-under of 21 on Middleton? It's a no bet for me. It's a no bet. I don't think there's enough meat on that bone, if you will. This is the prize picks that I took this morning. If you didn't tune into the morning video, I haven't taken any others since then. Transparently, this is a flex play. It's not parlaying them all 3 together. Although if all 3 hit, I would make more. But if only 2 hit, I still profit 25% profit. So 125% of my entry. So McCall Bridges over 3.5 rebounds. Giannis under 13.5 rebounds. He had 13 last game. I had 12.5 over under. That last rebound hurt. And Davis under 25 fantasy points. That's the same prop that I took last time. What do you have for Ayton ownership, says my man Evan in the chats. Ayton ownership right now, around close to a top 5 owned guy today, around 30% ownership is what I'm seeing. Thoughts on Nunn? Nunn will be low owned. The problem for Nunn, as it continues to be, and we kind of touched on it a couple times earlier in the stream, my guess is that you were not here yet, which is obviously fine. The problem with Nunn is he's not going to close these games out. He might start the games. He might play 25, 26 minutes in the games. He's not going to get closing run. And that's what hurts him. But can Kendrick Nunn score 30 fantasy points in 25 minutes? Sure. Yes, he can. And he's going to be low owned. I would prefer Campaign because he has a better chance of closing games out and a better offensive weapon. Drummond for you, and I'm not really there. I'm not really on Drummond today. Like, let me look at my top centers today. So top centers for me today, it's just tough to get the Drummond. My top centers are Bam, Ayton, Nurkic, Jokic, Lopez, Dedmon, and then Drummond. Like, Drummond's my number 7 center, let alone play today. There's just so many good and underpriced centers in the slate. I mean, just forget about Bam, Ayton playing massive minutes, Nurkic going to play 30-plus minutes if he stays out of foul trouble, massively underpriced for a guy averaging 1.37 fantasy points per minute this season. Nutty. Jokic is just the pay up if you want to go there with your lineups. The value play who's going to be relatively low owned than Brook Lopez. Like, I would assume Brook Lopez is 15 or 16% owned. That last game, Brook Lopez he didn't produce for you, but it was because of a massive blowout. So I would say, like, Campaign, Brook Lopez, Chris Paul, that's where the leverage is on this slate right now. And they just so happen, most of them, 2 of the 3, to be price values. Nunn or Rivers today. Give me Nunn. Best play for $3,000 flat. So BGA New Generation, is that $3,000 flat or just in the $3,000 range? You're not going to have a single guy on this slate at $3,000 flat. I have Andre Drummond for 12.8 fantasy points. That would be your best $3,000 flat play. That's the only guy at $3,000 flat. Otherwise, I have Derrick Jones Jr. at 2.8 fantasy points. Markieff Morris I have for 1.4 fantasy points. So Drummond, but he is very far from being in a player pool for me today. Or not Drummond, Andre Iguodala. I'd take, for the last shot, right, Max Kellerman, I'd take Iguodala. Iguodala ranks out for me today as my 37th overall play. He is not currently in a player pool. What's your take on the Millsap value today? I don't think it's there too much. I got him for 15.9 fantasy points at 3,900. I prefer his teammate on his own team. I'm personally just not going to dip into the 3K range. And here's the thing about the 3K range, right? The 3K range is filled with guys who, somebody in that 3K range tonight probably going to be in the lineup that wins $100,000. I personally don't care. I'm not playing in that contest. You might be, so maybe you got to take some stabs at it. But the problem with that is you have to take stabs at a 3K range where you're trying to find the guy who plays 15 minutes and scores 22 fantasy points tonight. Good luck. You're playing not even roulette. You have a worse chance. You're just playing the straight up lotto at that point, right? That's all you're doing. So I don't like to just play the lottery. I like to actually I'm putting time into this. I'm literally doing a stream about it. I'm doing projections. I'm trying to find leverage plays, right? Like I do these. I like to interact with the community that we're building here, but I actually do these because they help me go through the leverage, set aside time. Might as well do it live. But I'm not playing in the $100,000 first contest because then I just have to guess. Oh, maybe it's Paul Millsap. Let's just guess. It'll hit once out of every 5 or 6 or 7 times. Let's just guess, right? No. I'm going to play in the smaller field contest. So I'm not playing in the 3K range tonight. If I was to play in the 3K range tonight, I'll tell you who looks good. This is a slate that does not have good 3K options. JaMychal Green at 3,300 does not look good, but he's in play, 16.4 fantasy points. Dwayne Dedmon does not look good, 14.7 fantasy points, right? And that's it. Those are the only 2 guys in the 3K range that I have in a player pool, and they don't rank out that great. Any interest in Monty Morris? Yes, I have a good amount of interest in Monty Morris. I think he looks great. The Denver Nuggets kind of tipped their hand in that last game, showing us that when their back's up against the wall and they need scores, Monty Morris is coming on the court and not Austin Rivers. Rivers started the game, played a lot of first half run. Nothing happened to him. I checked for an injury, nothing. No foul trouble. He's just Austin Rivers. He's not a prolific scorer. He's not a great scorer. He's not even a good scorer, really. Monty Morris is at least a good scorer. So Monty Morris comes in that game, shoots 50%, shoots 5 of 10. Monty Morris plays 30 minutes. Monty Morris closes out that game. Austin Rivers is probably not going to be, that kind of tips the hand, right? Rivers is probably not going to be in the closing run moving forward, especially when you factor in that maybe if it's like a defensive thing and they're ahead Denver, maybe. But for the most part, since Portland can score and keep these games close, and probably, they were the favorite coming into the series. People might think that Denver was the favorite. Denver doesn't have Will Barton. They don't have Jamal Murray. Gary Harris has been traded, right? It's not the same Denver team that you once knew last year at this time. They were the underdog coming into this. They lost game 1. People are like, oh my God, they're going to be knocked off, underdogs. And no, they were the underdog. If they win, it's actually the upset, technically. So, yeah, I think that Monty Morris is a much better play than a Rivers. Yabber Dabber Yeast, what's going on, Chase? How you doing? Do you think the Heat could go to Hero again to give them a spark? No, look, I don't think Tyler Hero's good. Let me rephrase that. Tyler Hero is better than me at basketball. He's better than every single person watching this basketball. Relative to NBA players, he is not good. I don't know why we think he's going to go to them again. He played 19 and 18 minutes. Tyler Hero shot 1 of 5 and 2 of 10. He shot 20% in his 2 games. But Tyler Hero was fantastic. He had that iconic moment with the grin in the bubble. Okay, couple things, right? 1, Tyler Hero in the bubble. Sure, he caught fire. Great. 2 things about the bubble, though. No fans, no pressure at all. Literally no pressure at all in the bubble. 2, it was like proven that was the best. You saw Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell trading blows last year. It was the best shooting performances ever during that stretch. And a lot of it was attributed to the way that the background and just there being no fans at all. Fans start to show up this season a little bit. Tyler Hero it's terrible. Like, he has to be slowly working his way out of the rotation. And you're seeing that playing 18 minutes. So Tyler Hero should be in the $3,000 range. Tyler Hero should be a $3,000 player. Yes, he should be. $3,800 make him, somewhere around there. He's $5,500. He's not going to start. He's not going to get run off the bench, right? He's not going to close the games. He offers them nothing right now. Like, the Tyler Hero you thought last year in the postseason is not this guy today. It's nowhere close to him. Nowhere close. He offers them nothing. He offers them no defense. He offers them no offense. He offers them the illusion that he can make 3-pointers, but that's not happening lately, right? Not even close for the most part. Duncan Robinson or Monty Morris? Robinson. How do you feel about this slate overall today? I don't like it as much as the last 2 slates, but it's still fine. It's a 3-game slate, better than a solo or 1-game slate. My man, Sportsbird, Dylan Bird in the chat. He wrote this a couple of minutes ago, so hopefully he's still here. What's up, Sal? McCall Bridges over 1.5 threes and Dante DiVincenzo over 5.5 rebounds are the prop plays today. Yeah, I don't ever have any stances on the threes. I don't project them. I personally don't really know how. I think over-under on threes is just kind of a guess. But DiVincenzo over 5.5 rebounds. Let's see how I feel on that one. Dante DiVincenzo over 5.5 rebounds is... If you can find the prop that's at 6, I'd prefer the under. At 5.5, it's kind of a coin flip. I would lean the over, yeah, but kind of a coin flip. Crowder or Anthony today? Crowder. You think they play Forbes more tonight? He worth the play? He's not worth the play at all. I don't think they play him more. Look, the guy caught fire. It's not going to happen again, right? Shooting guard eligible, which is nice, but he played 20 minutes. He's going to play 16 minutes or so. What do I have Forbes at in this one? Let's see. Bryn Forbes, I have Forbes at 16 minutes. So I gave him a 2-minute bump since that first game because he played well. But Bryn Forbes shot 6 of 9 from 3-point land. Not happening again. For a guy who before that shot 0 of 3, 0 of 4, 2 of 5, right? So Bryn Forbes can get hot from 3. 5 of 6, 3 of 4, 4 of 7. Like, this is part of his game, right? That was all he did with the Spurs, was play some defense and shoot threes, which was a lot of guys in the Spurs, right, in the past 2-3 years ago. But Forbes shot 8 of 12 in 20 minutes of play, right? Contributed nothing but turnovers and personal fouls other than that. No assists, no blocks, no steals, a couple of rebounds. Bryn Forbes is going to play 16 minutes. He's probably going to shoot 4 threes, and you got to hope for him to make all 4 of them for him to really be anything for you. It's $3,100, which is good. The price point didn't change, but I just don't see him getting the minutes. Nurkic, Porter, or Giannis? I don't know what that question is, my man Job. You're asking me 2 guys or 1 guy. I don't know. I don't know what that question is. Any interest in Monty Morris? Yes. No Forbes consideration? None at all. How bad of an idea is Iguodala at captain for the minimum 1.5K? I don't want that at all. Who's your top dog tonight? A lot of pricey players, says Jesse. Yeah, I'm the priciest of them all. Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm trying to build my lineups around Giannis Antetokounmpo. My number 1 overall play today is Jimmy Butler. Giannis is my number 3 overall play. Giannis Antetokounmpo, though, is my number 1 play because in terms of fantasy projection and overall taking everything into account, people aren't owning him as much as they should. This is a 3-game slate, and Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to come in a lot of contests at 25% owned. If I told you that anytime during the regular season, and I told you he's healthy, he's playing fine, he's playing the biggest minutes he's played all season long, he's coming off of 2 games where he scored 62 and 65 fantasy points. One was overtime, sure. One was a game he didn't even step on the court in the fourth quarter for the most part, played only 30 minutes instead of the 38 to 40 that he's going to play, and he's going to be 25% on the 3-game slate. Well, why is that? Well, it's because everybody else is underpriced. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, right? All these guys are on the price on the slate today. Jokic is on the slate. He'll take some ownership away. LeBron and AD are on the slate, right? So that's why. But if you just want to lock Giannis for me today, 4.3 points more than anybody else in the slate. 6, and if your name's not Jokic, 8.7 points more than anybody else in the slate in my projections. The ceiling is obviously higher than that. Like you're talking about a ceiling that's 15 points higher than anybody else not named Jokic on the slate today. So yes, Giannis looks great. If the game's blowing out, it's probably because of Giannis, right? The only way that Giannis doesn't get there is if they foul him like they did in the first game. If that game didn't go to overtime, he wouldn't have been a good play. They fouled him. He got to the free throw line a bunch, and he missed literally 50% of his free throws. But my man Jesse over on Twitter, yes, that would be my play today. If you're still watching right now, a bunch of people up in here, playoff basketball, how you doing? Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button, by the way. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already. I assume most of you are. Notification bell. NFL content starting next week. We'll have a draft video tomorrow, live draft. We'll be going through if anybody wants to get in the underdog with me in the streets. 12-man Best Ball Mania, trying to win $1 million, $1,001. But the NFL content will start next week with some of the must-draft running backs and running back ranks. I just finished 36 running back profiles for the draft guide, so that's going to be releasing in about 2 weeks or so. Chase, how you doing? Do you like Goran Dragic on SuperDraft tonight at 1.55x? Goran Dragic over on SuperDraft, let me let you know where he ranks for me tonight. Kinda. He's not a priority. He ranks as my 18th overall player over there. Who will get higher usage tonight, Booker or Holiday? Higher usage, Booker. You prefer Bam or Nurkic today? I would prefer Bam, but ever so slightly. Bam's my number 2 overall play today. Nurkic is my number, if you can afford Bam, right? There's a price difference, but Bam. Any faith in Portis? Some. He's in a player pool because Portis is the definition of a guy who, he averages 1.1 fantasy points per minute. If Portis just plays 16 minutes, more times than not, he's scoring around 17 fantasy points, which just might be enough tonight, right? Sound my man looking fly like always. I appreciate that, Pedro. Too kind. The Heat didn't want to give up Hero for Harden. Yeah, I don't know the exact dealings of that right there. I don't know if that was like the main reason or if there was some other picks as well. But man, Tyler Hero seems to be a one-hit wonder. He could obviously turn things around. The sophomore slump is a real thing, but man, oh man. Jokic or Davis tonight? If I had to pick one, I would go Jokic. Is Anthony Simons Bryn Forbes tonight? No. Maybe it's coaching. Maybe it's a Coach Bolcher thing. No, Tyler Hero caught fire. He catches fire. And you remember, especially in rookie season, rookie fever last year, right? Tyler Hero catches fire. There was a game last year where the name is escaping me right now. Kobe White caught fire, hit like 7 or 8 threes. And then you just think, oh, this rookie's fantastic. And you think about that. You think that a month, right? You think that for a month. It's just not the case. There's a couple guys this year that fit that bill. Tyler Hero has 3 really good regular season games and might have 1 good game and 7 terrible games after that. And you just think he's great, right? Because he's a rookie and he had 1 good game. Any thoughts on Howard from Denver? Have him at 14 minutes. He's not in play for me. Sal, can you explain why players make the top 8 list when they are not yeses and how to factor both into lineup building? They just make the top 8 list because it's point per dollar. So the yeses are priorities. It doesn't mean don't play the X's. The X's are still guys that I like, just not as much. But if the pieces, the way that the lineup's built together, need some X's and maybe they're lower owned, maybe they're just cheaper, maybe they just slide in because none of the other guys do, well, that's fine. But it's point per dollar. It's bang for your buck. It's how much value is there. And some guys might be good values, but I don't want to play them. Like Danny Green yesterday. Fine value when you're talking about projection, massively owned for a guy who relies on 3-point shooting. He goes out there, he lays a stinker, they blow them out, he doesn't play his minutes, 14 points. One of the easiest fades of the entire playoffs was if you play Danny Green in a not cash or small field lineup in a $100,000 first contest yesterday, shake your head. It just screamed, fade this man, right? We talked about it on the live stream. He was 30+% owned in most contests for a guy. There was 3 guys at his price point. Royce O'Neal, who scores 30. Nerlens Noel, who plays better than Danny Green did, right? And the other name is escaping me right now. His teammate, Seth Curry, was pretty similar in price point. Alec Burks was pretty similar. He gets there. And Danny Green, the one who relies on threes, not even getting to the basket and scoring well, highest owned of them all. Double all their ownership. lays a stinker. Like a guy who notoriously just lays stinkers all the time at high ownership. Minutes on Caruso today. Caruso for me today is at 20 minutes of play. Not in play, though. Thoughts on Lillard and McCollum today? I like them both. We really liked Lillard last time out when he had low ownership. I don't think you're going to find that low ownership today on him. I think both Lillard and McCollum come in around 25% owned. I have McCollum as the better play. McCollum is my number, McCollum is my number 7 overall play in the slate. Lillard my number 10. But both are top 10 options for me today. I'd prefer McCollum. What's your favorite cash game? I personally do not play cash games, but head-to-heads and 50-50s, not double-ups for me personally. Single-entry double-ups, okay, but head-to-heads, 50-50s. I don't play cash. I haven't played a cash game in about a year and a half probably. I love the balanced build tonight. Not bad. I think the balanced build will be the highly owned build. The Jimmy Butler, Michael Porter, Bam Adebayo, or Nurkic, right? That'll be the highly owned build today, which is fine. The Devin Booker, right? That's fine. Think Melo is worth it? Melo, my man Alpha Dog, love the name. I think he's just a punt. You hope he plays 22 minutes and not 18. You hope he hits 5 of his 6 shots, right? Campazzo or Schroeder? Schroeder. Any thoughts on Howard from Denver? No interest. You like Dame and Giannis combo for 3-player leagues tonight? Yeah, I really like Giannis. I think Dame's fine. I would rather go to other options than Dame. You can go to cheaper McCollum, get a little bit money back for yourself. You can go to cheaper Butler, right? The value of the big energy optimizer got me feeling like I'm murking Sal without a gun once a month. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, if you're not in already on Patreon, get up in there. Get up in Patreon. Check it out if you're not already. There's the link to Patreon. You get the optimizer. You get the rankings. You get the Discord access, which is like honestly really underrated. The community is just buzzing nonstop for NBA right now with the playoffs, the Prize Picks channel, all that type of stuff. But get up in there. Get up in there. Rankings, top plays, updated projections, which is valuable, I would say. Very valuable. Let's pull up some of these minutes. What team's minutes do you want to see? Somebody throw a team out there. I'll just throw up right now Miami. Any interest in KCP after LeBron yelled at him? I don't think that matters too much, but for me, did KCP make a player pool? KCP made a player pool, 18.5 fantasy point projection. It's not great, but it is what it is on a 3-game slate. Josh Brown, what's going on, boss man? Booker and Caruso or Drew and Monty? Give me Drew and Monty there. That's a good question. Robinson or Morris Nuggets for single entry? Give me Robinson there. He's just going to have more opportunity to excel. He's going to be in the closing lineup. He's going to take 5 to 6 to 7 threes, and even if he doesn't get insanely hot, he'll make 3 or 4 of them, right? Monty Morris has to work more for his shots. Monty Morris probably, if he still gets Monty Morris played 30-minute shot 10 times. That's a lot. That's a good amount for Monty Morris. That's just not going to stay consistent. That's the upper bounds of his limits. Duncan Robinson, put him in the shooting guard spot. He's going to shoot at minimum 4 to 5 threes in the game, right? Let alone when he starts to shoot 13 times total. Thoughts on Lopez today? He's going to be lower owned. Campaign and Lopez are the 2 best leveraged low owned plays. I want to put Kendrick Nunn in that category. I do, but he just has no chance to close when Lopez has a chance to close and Payne does as well. Barbecue chicken for dinner. Yum. Sounds great. DiVincenzo or Payne today? I believe my answer will be DiVincenzo there. DiVincenzo versus Payne. Give me DiVincenzo. Can you do Campazzo and Morris in the same lineup? I would shy away from it in small field stuff, but if it's a lineup for $100,000, sure. Thoughts on Ariza today? He's in a player pool. He's just a guy for me today. Ariza, the ownership's not that low. He's just another guy for me today. Nothing crazy. Any minutes for Simmons? Have him in a showdown. Thanks. Yeah, we'll pull up Portland's minutes. There you go. Good question. We'll pull up the Portland minutes right now. My minutes on Simmons are on the screen with the rest of Portland. As you can see, I have Simmons at 15 minutes. Favorite stud for a 20-man contest? Giannis Antetokounmpo. Just got in. LeBron and Millsap or Butler and Powell? Butler and Powell for me. Lopez, Crowder, or Robinson today? Give me Lopez. DiVincenzo or Payne? Give me DiVincenzo. Best value players today, says Mark. So in my projections right now, I think Brook Lopez and Campaign are the best values that won't have ownership. Factoring in everything, or just factoring in point per dollar. Your top value plays today, Duncan Robinson, Brook Lopez, Robert Covington. This is below 5K. Right at 5K, Dante DiVincenzo. If you're looking to punt in the 3K range, JaMychal Green and Dwayne Dedmon are it, but I'm probably not getting there. What's the best leverage play thus far? I mean, it's going to be Chris Paul, but there's a really good chance. I mean, we saw it in the last game. I wasn't sure. I was projecting Chris Paul as healthy. I still kind of am, although the point per minute production has dropped. But Chris Paul will be the lowest owned player that can score 50 points tonight, right? John Morant was that guy yesterday. I wasn't on him. Anthony Davis was the day before that. He scored 60, 67. We were on him. That was good. Very good, right? But, yeah, you're not going to get that. Cam Johnson or JaMychal Green? JaMychal Green. Thoughts on Lillard and McCollum? I prefer McCollum over Lillard. Both top 10 plays for me today. But the best leverage play Campaign and Brook Lopez are good leverage values. The best leverage play, I mean, we're talking guys that are going to be like low owned, right? Not 20% owned, right? 15% or lower. I do think that Chris Paul will be in that category tonight. Thoughts on Gordon and Porter? Porter's fantastic. Porter's highly owned. Not much to say about Porter. Porter is he's in the bucket of Jimmy Butler right now. We'll pull up Denver's minutes. Porter is where Jimmy Butler is. Fantastic option. You hope the game stays close. They're going to pay off for you. They're going to be no worries. Those are the guys that go into your lineup. You don't care about the ownership if you're playing them. You get different somewhere else. But my thoughts on the other guy that you said was Gordon. Gordon's in a player pool. I gave Gordon today 28 minutes. It was nice to see him actually get some closing run and take a little bit more shots. Completely fine. Somebody says, I like Ariza a lot today. What do I have Ariza at? I have Ariza at 23.57 fantasy points. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. Ariza grades out similar to like a Kendrick Nunn, similar to a Dennis Schroeder, Monty Morris for me today. So, yeah, obviously different price points on those guys. LeBron and DiVincenzo or Michael Porter Jr. and Bam. LeBron and DiVincenzo. Why would CP and Payne both be low owned? Doesn't one of them have to be underpriced? Well, CP is going to be low owned. Chris Paul, that is, because he's injured and people don't want to play him and he's spoiled in the last couple of games. And Campaign today is not underpriced. Campaign is overpriced. So Chris Paul is underpriced. Chris Paul should be the guy who's not low owned today, but his injury, he got injured in the first game. It clearly showed in the second game. His injury is keeping him low owned. Campaign is lower owned because of his price point and people not paying attention to the fact that he played bigger minutes in that last game, even on the court with Booker and Paul. They went a 3-guard. They went a heavy guard rotation, which you can do against the Lakers. Like if the Lakers slide Anthony Davis down to the 5 and take out the chances of Marcus All or Harrell being on the court, and Harrell played no minutes, so they did. When the Lakers slide down Anthony Davis to the 5 in crunch time closing run, right? They are a smaller team. Of course, LeBron playing point is a bigger guy, but Dennis Schroeder goes to the point. LeBron starts to move towards small forward, power forward. Wesley Matthews is playing more, right? Bron under 51 today. Yeah, what do I have Bron at? I've got LeBron at 52.2 fantasy points. How do you like Kendrick Nunn today? I know he won't close, but his shot attempts can become huge. I don't know if they can become huge. I mean, if you want to tell me once out of every 5 or 6 games, sure. Then yeah. Kendrick Nunn is my number 24 overall play. I have him for 21.2 fantasy points. He looks like the exact same type of play as a Trevor Ariza today, if we're talking like in a similar price range as a Monty Morris. I think Morris has more upside in closing, though. Which guard do I take? I have $5,100 left. Let's see. Dante DiVincenzo at 5K flat is probably your answer. $5,100 left. I would go. Give me Goran Dragic at $5,100 exactly. Campazzo and $100 contest, good value. Sorry if you responded, I missed it. Yeah, I think he's fine there. Nothing against Campazzo. He's going to get the minutes. I think he's fine there. High stakes single entry. Do you lean balanced or stars and scrubs? Depends on the slate. It's hard to go stars and scrubs. Like if stars and scrubs for you today, the only real stars and scrubs, I mean, there's LeBron, like Giannis and Jokic or Giannis and LeBron. I'm not doing that today. So I'll go like Giannis and then just anybody else not in the 10K range. Sal, what's good, brother? What's going on? It's Sending the Storm over on Twitch. Do you think Anthony Simons gets back to 15 to 20 minutes today? I have him at 15 minutes. Butler and Schroeder or Porter and McCollum? That's a good one. Give me Porter and McCollum. Let's get this money, fellas. Let's do it. Yeah, if you're not already signed up, I think there's about 300 plus people watching right now. If you're not already signed up, this is the prop that we're placing tonight. If you want to join in on this, the community prop, you can check it out. It's linked down below on Prize Picks. If you sign up with the code SAL, there's a link in the description. SAL, it's simple, SAL. Any money you put in up to your first 100 is going to be a 100% match. And if you're in New York, this is now legal. This is the only place in New York where you can actually bet on sports legally, right? You don't have to worry about the place you're betting on folding or taking all your money and never responding to you, right? Like MyBookie does. Like if you're betting on MyBookie right now, stop. Like they just don't respond to people at certain points. They're not a legitimate company, right? So McCall Bridges over 3.5 rebounds, Giannis under 13.5 rebounds, and Anthony Davis under 25.5 points. That's where I'm at right now. And now you might be saying, you love Giannis. Well, under 13.5 rebounds. Yeah, of course I would like him to get more. For this bet's purpose, I won't. But Giannis can clearly get there without getting 14 to 15 to 16 rebounds, right? Come on. Best bounce back candidate tonight, probably Robert Covington. Based on his mid-30s in minutes. So, yeah, use that code SALLY, get the nice little deposit bonus. You can follow this one or place whichever one you want. If you have any specific question on a prop, let me know. We'll help you out while we're live. That's the whole point of these. Simmons over 10.5 on Prize Picks. I have Simmons today. I'm not going to take the over, I don't believe. I have Simmons for 12.3. It's not close enough to take it, especially on a guy who gets such low usage. Like, there's not a lot of opportunities. Like, you're hoping that Simmons is, like, 3 shots he takes that you're, like, holding your hands, like, for every single one of them. There's just not enough opportunity. Everybody takes Schroeder so I can win. LeBron ain't going to let him ruin the ball game. LeBron's going to basically run the point from forward. I mean, LeBron's the point guard whenever he's on the court, right? Drew and Monty or CJ and Duncan? CJ and Duncan. Quick analysis on Anthony Simmons from the Blazers. Have him at 15 minutes today. There's not really much analysis to give you when you're going to get 38 to 40 minutes out of McCollum. You're going to get 40 to 42 minutes out of Mr. Damian Lillard. Those are the two guards, right? Those are the two guards. You know how much minutes are left over there? 6 to 8 for Damian Lillard and 8 to 10. So, like, at most minutes today, you're going to have, like, 18 minutes left over for the guards, the backup guards. So, even if Anthony Simmons played every single one of those minutes, he'd only get 18 minutes tonight, right? And I don't have him getting every single one of those minutes. So, that's the issue. Thoughts on Lillard? I like him. He's my number 10 overall play. I like him. He's not going to be as low owned as last time out, but yet again, just like last time out, he could be a pivot for you off of a Jimmy Butler. Dragic and Gordon or Forbes and Porter? I mean, Forbes is not in play for me, so Dragic and Gordon. Any Cam Johnson? Not for me. LeBron or Jimmy? Jimmy. SuperDraft won't let me play because of my location, but my money on there. You should be able to withdraw your money. Yeah, if you're not in a legal state, you won't be able to play outside of the free contests. Ayton a player? No. Yeah, he's very much a play. He's going to be highly owned, but he's very much a play. He's my number 2 center today behind Bam Adebayo. How do you feel about Duncan Robinson? Probably the best value play under 5K in the slate is Duncan Robinson. Plays big minutes. He's going to get reliable shots. Probably will shoot 8 to 10 times tonight. Probably will shoot 5 to 10 3-pointers tonight. So he's somewhat boom or bust because he relies on threes, but he's arguably the best 3-point shooter. Him, Joe Harris, right? Steph Curry in the NBA. So it's not as much of a sweat when you have those guys you're banking on to make threes and not Danny Green, who he's a fine 3-point shooter, but he's not the elite of the elites right now. Ayton, Nurkic, or Drummond? Give me Ayton, give me Nurkic, then Ayton, then Drummond. Saquon was wishing further injuries. Oh, no. Torrey Craig today. I don't even know if I projected Torrey Craig today. Let's see. I did not give Torrey Craig any minutes today. 0 minutes for Torrey Craig. Jimmy over LeBron, why? Feel free to ignore. Sorry. No, I don't got to ignore Logan. Jimmy over LeBron, we're not talking pure points. We're talking factoring in the price point here, right? I mean, LeBron James is LeBron James, of course, but we're factoring the price points. If you want pure points, go to LeBron James. But Jimmy Butler is $1,000 underpriced. I've got Jimmy Butler for over 50 points at $8,400. I got LeBron barely for more points for a lot more money, right? LeBron is $1,400 more than Jimmy Butler today. I only have LeBron projecting out for 1.6 more fantasy points. Just a price point thing. LeBron's going to average 1.4, 1.45 fantasy points per minute today in 38 minutes of play. Butler's going to average 1.35 fantasy points per minute today in 40 minutes of play if the game stays close, right? Appreciate you responding. No problem, man. Respond to everybody as well as I can. CJ or Chris Paul? CJ. Any thoughts on Kwame Brown stuff? I don't follow it. I know who the guy is. I've seen some of the stuff just from reading headlines. I just, like, if it doesn't make me laugh and it's not entertaining in that way, or if it's not like some actually really good analysis on like a topic, I'm probably not watching it. Like, if there's no entertainment factor from a comedy standpoint, and if there's no entertainment factor from an information standpoint, or fighting, like MMA kind of has its own thing, like the fighting aspect that all of us, for some reason, us humans love to see back from the Coliseum days. But if it's just a guy like Kwame Brown, like shit talking people for shit talking him, like, look, I'm not down for it. Just no use for me. So those are my thoughts, I guess. I'm playing campaign in every lineup and hoping Chris Paul gets hurt. Oof, I don't want to hope my man Chris Paul gets hurt. I think campaign can definitely get there without that happening. We saw it last time. Chris Paul played his minutes. Campaign played more minutes because they said, oh, campaign is better on the court for us. Yeah, let's play him more. CJ and Dame together? Yeah, I think that's fine. I think you can play the two of them together. If you're not already, like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, let us know in the live chat. If this is your first time finding this content. Thoughts on fading Giannis and Jokic? Yeah, if you want to go balance, that's fine. I personally will be playing Giannis in my single entry. Booker or Bam for utility with Butler already in my lineup? Booker. Gordon, Bridges, or Ariza today? Bridges. You like Drew over CJ straight up today? No, I do not. I like CJ more than Drew. CJ more than Drew for me. I've got Drew at 38.5 fantasy points, CJ at 39.8. First time in live won't be my last, says Logan Walter. First time ever in live. I assume you watch the pre-recorded videos in the morning. Maybe not. KCP and Covington or Millsap and campaign today? Give me KCP and Covington. How many of your top 8 to 10 would you recommend sliding in our lineups? It depends on the contest you're playing. Are you playing cash? Are you playing GPPs? Are you playing large field GPPs or small field, right? Yeah. So it depends on the lineups that you're playing. Like, would I go right down the list today and do this, right? Like, Would I go directly down the list to the top 8 and put them all in there? No. I would not say play Jimmy Butler, Bam. I mean, you can't. Jimmy Butler, Bam, Giannis, Ayton, right? You can't play all these guys in the same lineup. They're too expensive. I would assume so, right? They're way too expensive. Only one guy below 6,300 in this thing. But these guys on the screen, like, yeah, I mean, they're top 8 for a reason. They're all going to pick up some ownership, and most of them will pick up high ownership, right? You're going to see high ownership on those guys, but that's why you slot in a Campaign. That's why you slot in a Brook Lopez, who was very close to being in that top 8, which is why I like him a good amount today. He's a yes if you are a Patreon member, and if you're not, what are you waiting for? Sign up. We got an MMA event this weekend. We had PGA start today. We got all the tools, the optimizers, projections, ranks, ownership for some sports. You got the best content for sure. Keep it up, says my man Josh. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, we have some talks. We were on the phone today with FTN, my man over at FTN, Kevin Adams, I believe it is his last name. So, yeah, we got some talks. We're talking with some people. NFL season, I mean, it's still going to be me on this channel, but maybe doing some other shows either in person or via the Zooms. I'm excited for it. NFL season is what we're working up for right now. The whole addition to the studio, the whole equipment upgrade, right? That's what we're working up to. And the NFL content starts in June, which is literally the beginning of next week, right after Memorial Day weekend. NFL content starts. NBA will still be here, right? We'll be at like 2-game series, but still here. I'm in the $500,000 slate. Best of luck, man. Is Forbes banking on a blowout? I'm not playing Forbes. Is playing Forbes banking on a blowout? Probably yes. You're going to have a better chance of Forbes getting there from a blowout than him shooting 6 of 9 from 3 again, right? Butler or Middleton in the $100,000? The answer for me is Butler, but the problem is I don't know your whole entire lineup ownership. Butler will be the highest owned guy today. Middleton will probably be half as owned as Butler today. He'll be half as owned. But what is the rest of your lineup? Butler is the better play than Middleton. But if you're telling me that your lineup has all the chalk guys and now you're asking me, well, then I'd go Middleton, right? What's your favorite NBA game to play? Single entry and 3 max contests. Single entry priority. Crowder or Rocco? What about Demon? He got 30 FanDuel points last time out. Yeah, he got 30 FanDuel points because the game blew out and he played more minutes, right? So if you think the game blows out and Bam Adebayo doesn't play the fourth quarter, well, then Dwayne Demon's going to play more. Otherwise, Dwayne Demon is not going to play. Dwayne Demon is going to play 14 minutes today, probably, right around there, unless the game blows out. Demon played 21 minutes in the last game because he played the fourth quarter when Bam played 0 minutes because of the blowout. Bam in the lineup or Ayton and Nurkic in the same lineup? I like Ayton and Nurkic in the same lineup. Yes, sir. Love them, but this is better. Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, the pre-recorded videos in the morning are fantastic. They allow you to kind of surf at your own time. They allow you, if you're somebody in the morning, to get an early start at it. If you don't know that I do these live streams, right? But I do agree that the immediate question and answer is fantastic. These will obviously roll over into the NFL season. Do the Bucks get blown out? Should I stay away from players from that game? No stance on that. I mean, I'm projecting a close game. If anything, I think it's the other way. Thanks, Salmon. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks, Sal. No problem. Viable to go stars and scrubs today. I mean, I'm playing Giannis if you consider that stars and scrubs, but I would not play 2 stars if you're saying Giannis and Jokic, Giannis and LeBron, Jokic and LeBron, right? What are your prize picks looking like for today? As of right now, this is all that I have picked on prize picks, but right after the stream, I'm going to look a little bit deeper. This is the one that I put in. This is a flex play. Nice shirts out. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. I see another site now promoting prize picks now. They copied you, LOL. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of sites promoting prize picks. The problem is we the OGs. But no, yeah, I mean, prize picks is obviously going to get as much people as they can. Any Connington today? Not for me. I've got Connington for 9.7 fantasy points. Connington ranks out as my 50th overall play, and I have only projected out 58 guys, so not good at all. LeBron and AD at home in the same lineup, not in the same lineup for me. I would rank those two, LeBron and AD. Love your vibe and perspective on things. Great content, says It's Amigo. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, man. I mean, perspective is what it's all about, right? That's what it's all about. So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited to get some NFL content out. Sometimes I get too much in my head and just, like, think, and, you play the comparison game of other people either putting out NFL content or putting out all this other content, and you just got to stay away from that. So I like to stay in my bubble. Like, if you follow me on Twitter, or I like to at least attempt to stay in my bubble. Sometimes, it gets out of hand. You have a day kind of that has stress for other reasons in it. Maybe you're working too much, or you're just not. If I don't run, sometimes I just have natural stress. You don't get good sleep, right? Whatever it might be. You eat it bad. And then one thing leads to another, and now you're stressed out and you're overthinking a lot of stuff. So that happens. But for the most part, I like to stay in my own bubble. So, like, if you follow me on Twitter, or if you know of me on Twitter, I follow right now, let's see, I follow 70 people on Twitter, right? And I would say 20 of those people are people that I actually know in person. Friends from college, friends from home. Another 20 might be, like, the Adam Schefter types, news sources, right? So, like, actual, like, internet people that I've never met in real life that do the same thing as me. I probably follow 30 of them. Like Nick Ercolano, who I like from BDG. Some of the Awesome guys, because I like them from their shows, right? Some guys from Prize Picks because I communicate with them actually on the phone and through Zoom. But yeah, I just like to do my thing, stay in my bubble. Otherwise, you get in your head too much and you start doing stuff you wouldn't want to do. Millsap crushed last game. What about running him out there today? Yeah, Millsap is every 5 to 7 games. Millsap will get you there at these low minutes that he's playing. He's playing 15 minutes in this series. The first game, he scored 14 fantasy points in 15 minutes. That's more likely to be the outcome more times than not. He's a point per minute producer. Millsap scoring 30 fantasy points in 15 minutes, 2 fantasy points per minute. That is not Paul Millsap. That's not going to continue to happen. Can he score 20 and 15 and get you there? Yeah, he's fine to do that, but I'm not interested. Paul Millsap, in 15 minutes of play, shot 5 of 8, right? He shot 5 of 8 from the floor and had 6 free throw attempts. What? 7 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal. 6 free throw attempts and 8 shot attempts in 15 minutes, right? Just not going to continue to happen. Best large GPP pick, Sal. Appreciate the contest. The best large field GPP pick, probably Giannis Antetokounmpo for me. Nurkic or Ayton today. Nurkic if I had to pick one. Do you like the over on Duncan Robinson's 13.5 points today? 13.5 points on Duncan Robinson. Let me see. Duncan Robinson, 13.5 points today. It's a no bet for me. I would lean the over, but I got him at like 13.8, so it's a no bet. Powell or Gordon? Powell. Nurkic or Ayton? Ayton. Jimmy or Bron on FanDuel? I don't play FanDuel, so I don't know the prices. It's Jimmy on DraftKings for me. Dragic or Campazzo? Dragic. Best FanDuel play center. I don't play FanDuel. I haven't played FanDuel in 2 or 3 years, so probably about closer to 2 years, I would say. So yeah. Last question. Outside of Payne and Lopez, who else is legit at low price? I mean, those guys are at low ownership. I still think they're okay plays. Like Lopez is a really quality play all around today. Campaign is more so because he's low owned. But Duncan Robinson, Dragic, DiVincenzo just signed up for Prize Picks. Giannis over 58 today. I have Giannis projected for 60.9, so it's kind of too close for me to want to take that one personally. If you have the projections, you'll be able to see all my projections, which will help you massively in kind of deciding if that's for you. If you are new to the stream, like my man Logan, and you're not already following me on Twitter, you can follow me right there. We put out videos in the morning, projections over on Patreon, and we discuss in the Discord a bunch. Then we do these live streams until the NBA season is over. NBA season is going to end in about 6 or 7 weeks, the finals. So really, like outside of showdown slates, we got about 4 or 5 more weeks of the NBA season. Sal, you know the fantasy headliners, Jake and Kyle? I don't think so. I do not believe so. Appreciate all the tips, fella. No problem. Lillard or Butler? If I had to pick one today, Butler. Holiday question mark? I like Drew today. Yeah, it depends on how your lineups are shaking out, but he should be like only 18, 20% on. Sal, why don't you play FanDuel anymore? I just like DraftKings better. I do Prize Picks. I do SuperDraft. Yeah, I just have 2 player props. I just have so many other things going on. FanDuel has done sketchier things. I just never played with them because they didn't have late swap back in the day, but they've done some sketchier things in the past. Taking $3 out of people's inactive accounts. That's how you have to get a revenue source, by charging people for not playing, for inactivity, for not playing for a year, taking money out of their accounts. What is this, right? If you're inactive in a bank account, they don't take money out of your account, right? Like overdraft fee, sure, but not just because you're inactive and not using it. So that's a little bit sketchy. That's why you have to make a revenue stream, right? And then other stuff like the NFL season this past year, their live scoring wasn't working, and nobody can see, so nobody can late swap when you need to late swap in the NFL season. The 1 p.m. games are over. Okay, what do I have to do to try and get a leverage or play it safer now based on how my guys played at 1 o'clock? Nobody could see the live scoring on FanDuel. I didn't play, but this was all over Twitter. They rewarded everybody, people who were putting tens of thousands of dollars, even hundreds of dollars, even $50 on their site. They rewarded everybody with up to a $100 FanDuel credit. So if you know that you would have made money or not lost as much money by hedging your bets in the later games, but you couldn't because you couldn't see it, you knew you could have made maybe a couple $100 back. Instead, they said, we'll give you up to a $100 FanDuel credit back. I mean, if DraftKings makes a mistake, they give you everything back, everything net profit back. I mean, that's just, I'm not in those streets. Do you expect much from Payne now that CP is going to be playing? CP's been playing. Payne played with CP last game. Payne played more minutes. They went to a smaller rotation. So, yeah. All right, everybody, I'm going to bounce. A just popped in. Going to hit the rewind and get to the lineup in. Thanks. Yeah, no problem, Nico. Get up in there. All right, everybody, appreciate you tuning in. Like, subscribe before you go. Support the sponsor of the program, which is Prize Picks. Use that code SAL. Get yourself a nice little $1 bonus up to $100. Sign up for Patreon. Get up in there. Appreciate you all. Jokic or Giannis? Giannis. See you in the next one. I'm going to chill out, relax, max, all cool. The slate starts in 55 minutes. An hour and 5 minutes, 65. Peace out, gang.